Welcome back. Today, I'd like to talk to you about how to create a healthy environment, what we can do to kind of put the odds in our favor as we are trying to live a healthier lifestyle. You've probably heard of in sports, people talk about home court advantage. When you're playing with your home, you've got your fans cheering you on as opposed to on the road when people are booing you and heckling you. So environment can make a big difference. In Vegas, the casinos, they have what they call house odds. They know they're going to lose money some days, but they know the majority of the time they're going to win money back from people. And so they've got the odds stacked in their favor. So as you embark on trying to be a healthier person and live a healthier lifestyle, let's put the odds in your favor too. So there are a couple of things you can do for that I'll talk about today. Also, just briefly, I want to warn you, there's 3 times I've noticed with my personal life and every single client I've ever worked with, 3 times they're more vulnerable to unhealthy eating. So I just want to give you this information, kind of a heads up, so you can watch out for that in your life. The first one is in the evenings. Most people do really good for breakfast and lunch and usually dinner, but something happens after 6 or 7 p.m. when you're sitting at home watching TV, or you let your guard down, and so many people make some unhealthy food choices later in the evening, in those later hours. So that's one thing you really want to watch for. Be careful in those evening hours. Another area is in the weekend. Some people do really good Monday through Friday. They track their food, they know what they're doing, and then the weekend comes and it's like, hey, party time, and then they just kind of let loose with some poor decisions, and then they're hating themselves Monday. And now there's nothing wrong with saving if you want to have like a cheat day or whatever to reward yourself. If you know you're going to be going to an event, a reception or a party, that's fine. You can partake in those sort of things. Just remember moderation, and then don't mess up the progress you've made all the rest of the week. So watch out for weekends also. And then the third time to really be careful for most people is when they're traveling. I've seen so many people when they go on vacation, they come back and they've gained 6 pounds. They've been working so hard, doing so well. And one reason is because when you're traveling, you're kind of at the mercy of fast food or whatever's available. So there's a couple of ways to get around that. One is to pack healthy snacks with you when you travel, also in your home. If you get in you open your fridge and there's the soda pop and treats and desserts and stuff like that, or in your pantry, you want to make sure, and I'm not saying you have to throw everything out, especially if you're married or have roommates or kids that aren't on the same, don't have the same nutrition goals as you. That can be kind of challenging. So one thing you can do with that is maybe if there's people that have other food, maybe ask them to put it in a different cupboard or not eat it in front of you. Enlisting the help of someone who's going to be supportive will make a big difference. Sometimes I've seen this, it's interesting, that crab effect, where you'll see, even with spouses, you'll see someone starts to make great progress, they're getting healthier, they're losing weight, and then the spouse will say, hey, get back down here with me, you're making me look bad. Maybe psychologically, maybe they don't realize that's the reason, but I've seen that happen a lot. So try and enlist the help of people who are supportive of your goals, and then try and get rid of all the unhealthy, negative environment around you. So if that's cleaning out your fridge or pantry or putting it in different boxes for different people, things like that, just whatever it takes. But it's really hard when you talk about willpower of seeing something in the fridge every time you open it and saying, I shouldn't eat that. And every time you do that, it's just going to be an impossible battle. That reminds me back when I was working in an office setting for years. My coworkers, they'd always come to me, and these ladies would say, hey, I've got this big plate, this big thing of M&Ms. I'm trying to lose weight. I can't let it be on my desk. And so they put it on my desk. And guess what? By the end of the day, that whole thing of M&Ms was emptied. And it's like, if you're going to put a temptation right in front of you and look at it throughout the day, it's going to be impossible. So let's try and clean up our environment, move those things that are temptations, that are obstacles to our success, get them out of the house, move them somewhere where we won't see them, and that'll make a big difference for you. And this also applies not only to nutrition, but also with if you need to invest in a newer yoga mat or some cheap exercise equipment, something like that to make it easier. Or we talked about sleep previously. If you need to invest in a new pillow or get some like darker curtains or in your room, or whatever it is that helps your environment so you can be healthier, look at some of those things. So I challenge you this week to look at your environment, look at what things are obviously very unhealthy, what things you can do to make it a healthier environment, because all we're trying to do is to improve our odds. One thing I've found that can do that is association. I've found some clients before, when they're really wanting to make change and they're doing well, and then either their family or friends are they're always hanging out with them, they're always going unhealthy food places, they're eating a lot of junk food, they're always partying, doing stuff like that. It makes it so hard for that person to make the improvement. That doesn't mean you have to lose relationships and shut down family members and stop seeing them. But what I would encourage you to do is to look for people who have similar goals as you, kind of like this group we're in. People who, like if you have an exercise buddy, someone you can exercise with, people that are also in the same boat as you. It's so much easier when you have that camaraderie and that support from other team members instead of just trying to do it all alone. So anyway, these are just a couple ideas, but I just want you to this week look at your own life and see what areas you can do to make a healthier environment where you're living right now. What things can you move that are out of your area that you're looking at or seeing, even if it's stuff like excessive news or negative stuff like that. It's not always just food and diet, but it could be what kind of stuff are we feeding in our brain that's not good for us. So let's just think about ways to clean our environment, make it healthier, make it more conducive for our success, and that'll make a big difference and make it a lot easier for your efforts in the future.